Welcome to God Crimes Pod with Danny and Maya.
Hello,
Hello,
I am Danny.
I'm Maya.
And we are here today to record our very first episode of God Crimes Pod. I wanted to start things out with a little cheers.
Cheers.
To Maya.
Thank you. And to Danny.
This is to sharing our story, sharing my story, and bouncing off of you the craziness that was my life experience as
Indeed.
one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh my, and you witnessed a lot.
That's right. Cheers, baby.
Cheers. You are drinking what is that?
I'm sipping
Dragon's
on
breath?
whatever we happen to have had in the fridge.
Yes,
a
back of the
Bayern
fridge.
Dragon's breath.
And I'm just drinking a little Waterloo raspberry nectarine. Very delicious. All right, what's your anecdote for us right now?
Okay, so my anecdote is...
Which just means tiny story, by the way. The first time he used that word, I was like, I don't know what that means. But it's just a really fancy way to say small story.
Small story. So, the thing that I wanted to share about was when I was about 17 or so, I had my first interaction with a scammer Jehovah's Witness guy. So,
Whoa.
what had happened was we heard of a Jehovah's Witness guy in another town close by, about an hour away, that was selling time travel water to little old ladies in our congregation.
Time travel water?
Literally time travel water.
Incredible.
I'm going to say this guy was in Helena, Montana, and we found him on YouTube. And me and an elder who I was close friends with, we thought, you know what? It is incumbent upon us to try to do something about this. And so we called the Helena congregation. Which one was it? Elkhorn, I think. That might be too specific. But, and we confirmed that,
Elkhorn,
hey,
we're coming for you.
like we said, hey, there's this guy in your hall who sold this little old lady, Ethelene, some time travel water.
Hold on. Her name was Ethelene?
I'm pretty sure it was Ethelene.
That's an incredible old lady name. Okay,
Yes.
Continue.
So we said, hey, this guy is selling this time travel water to other people as well. We've heard of some people in our congregation, and we think that there's others. What do you think about that? What can be done?
What is time travel water?
Oh my God, it would break my mind to try to remember his explanation. But basically, it was water that was sent backwards in time. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And you drink it, and it has miraculous health benefits. I shit you not.
Incredible.
Okay.
I mean, at least it was water from Montana.
It
okay?
was water from Montana.
Because it could have been
think.
water out of Phoenix or some shit.
It could
and
have
that
been.
would have actually
That would have been
dangerous.
actively worse water.
So at least it was probably like spring water.
Good spring water in Montana. Anyway, so their reaction was they had no reaction at the fact that this man sold time travel water. Their reaction was, so-and-so, all that we can tell you is that so-and-so is in good standing as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That was it.
Selling ethylene, a fake product.
It was
and
not
he
a problem.
Still in good standing.
He was in good standing. Quote, he was in good standing as one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Wow.
That's some kind of legal bullshit line that they must have gotten from the headquarters, I'm guessing, because I'm sure we were not the only people to call about this guy. So
Incredible.
that was it. It stopped right there. It was what this guy does for his personal business has nothing to do with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and we're not going to do anything about it. So all that we can tell you is that he is in good standing as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And that was the first time that we ran into a scammer. And listen, a huge takeaway that we will be revisiting in this pod is people who believe in dumb bullshit tend to believe in even more dumb bullshit.
Poor Ethylene.
Poor Ethylene.
And that brings us in. Welcome. That was our anecdote for today. If you'd like to get some time travel water, it's available at our Patreon.
That's right.
So
$20 a bottle.
fresh from Montana. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
We might sell Dasani, but of course we will make it travel through time
We'll
first.
make sure. So why are we recording this podcast? Why are we taking the time to do this? It's not just our own personal passion project, although it is very interesting and we get a lot out of talking about this crazy topic. But we also want to educate people because the Mormons get all kinds of press. The Jehovah's Witnesses, arguably just as crazy, in some ways even scarier, at least to me, like the actual things they believe. But we don't hear about it as much, so let's get into it. You have life experience with this group. Would you call them a group or would you use a different word?
All right. So I believe that the appropriate term is New Religious Movement, NRM.
That sounds awfully vague, though.
It does sound vague. I think it's quite clinical. I hesitate to use the word cult only because there's so much stigma around it that it's not really that useful when trying to engage with people that are
For sure.
have associations with people that are in this religious sect or not. But I think New Religious Movement is pretty appropriate.
Also, I love the term high control group.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking for. Yeah. High control group is very appropriate. And I've heard someone refer to Mormons as a high demand religion.
There we go.
I like that quite a bit as well. So I guess most people's perception of the Jehovah's Witnesses are, oh, they're fine. They're just some regular Christian sect. What differentiates them is they will annoy me on a Saturday when I'm trying to relax by knocking on my door. And otherwise, people think that they're harmless. Mm-hmm. And that's their first mistake.
Not harmless.
Not harmless at all.
No, they do come across as very harmless. I've had a couple experiences. I remember getting little pamphlets and going, oh, this is kind of cute. And you start to read it, you go, this is actually making me kind of uncomfortable. And then you just throw it away because, you know, if you're not vulnerably looking for a new religion to join, most of their propaganda goes in the garbage, right? But you know the secrets of the group.
That's right. Basically, I just want to tell my story and the stories of a lot of people that I know who grew up in this group and then have since left it and gone to reclaim their lives.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to share stories like this.
Absolutely. So I want to go over some of the reasons why this is, in fact, a dangerous group that does need to be talked about. And you know, better than anyone, you spent how many years as a part of this group?
I was fully in it for 28 years, born into it.
28 years, fully an adult. You know what they believe. You spent hours and hours every single week of your life until you were 28 with this group, with their beliefs. Tell me some of the things that are going on behind those doors that we don't know about.
All right, so there are a plethora of issues, which we will surely fully get into. Number one, I would say, is that they are a doomsday cult. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? That specifically means that the Jehovah's Witnesses are looking forward to, with an enormous amount of glee, Armageddon, which is when Killer Christ will ride down from heaven, bearing a sword on a white and probably golden horse with a billion angels behind him. I should say myriads of angels, many thousands by many thousands.
And that is literally the imagery that you've even seen.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus with a sword on a horse coming down to slay people.
Coming down, riding full gallop with the mission of slaughtering every non-Jehovah's Witness on planet Earth.
Wow.
And that drum is like just beat repeatedly. Like that is just like really beat into you at the earliest of ages. Like some of my earliest understandings of the witnesses were like, oh, we're here to learn this stuff so that Jesus Christ and all of his angels, his backup, do not kill us. You know, because Armageddon can happen at any time in their cosmology. Like it can literally happen like right now.
Right now.
Yeah. It would lead into first the Great Tribulation, blah, blah, blah. They have all their, inside baseball as to how they predict it would work, which it absolutely will not ever. But, Armageddon. They are just so thirsty for it. And it's amazing because the group has, for anyone that is a witness, if they do any outside research, which is a big no-no, they are not allowed to consume third-party information about their own group.
At all.
But if they do, they would very quickly discover that they have had many predictions with dates and specific times that have continuously failed to come true. Mm. But that's a huge thing about them. They like really turn on the screws of people, and they just continually tighten. Like something that they will say is like, keep on the watch. Like, we're now even closer to Armageddon than the day before. Like, we live in the last days.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people say like, oh, we're in the last days of the last days. Like, God's fiery day of vengeance is just right around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, so
it could be episode 1. It could be episode 10 of our pod, you know.
Yeah.
And how ironic, guys. Actively recording when Armageddon hits.
Yep.
Oh, that'll be a day.
Oh boy, if we're actively recording when Armageddon hits, there will be plenty of egg on our faces. I will fully admit, hey guys, guess what? I was wrong. Premise of the podcast. No good.
Incredible.
Yeah, but Doomsday Cult and the psychology of that, just continuously being, like, you know, that message being rammed down your throat. Like, remember, do everything that we say because you're gonna die when Armageddon comes. Like, if you're not good with God, like, you're done when God comes. And
it's gonna be violent too. I mean, they seem to be very invested in the violence of Armageddon.
It is really interesting because on the one hand, like, I have sat in a Kingdom Hall and listened to a elder like wax poetic about the very fine details of how Armageddon is going to unfold. And like he said, like here's this scripture, and I can't quite recall where it is off the top of my head in this moment, but here's this scripture, like these generals that are like trying to mow down witnesses, they will like shit themselves, you know, actively. God. And they will, you know, right before like an angel comes to like behead them, they will have like a dawning moment of recognition where they will say, oh my God, the Jehovah's Witnesses were right about everything.
They were right
before they die. Like, that is canon in their mindset. Like, they think, oh, everyone who gets killed during Armageddon, they will have, if not like if they don't come to their own understanding, like they will be given an understanding that the Jehovah's Witnesses were right about everything.
Wow, but no second chances.
No second chances at that point.
Now you can feel extra bad about yourself.
Yeah, you can feel just a little bit extra bad about yourself before your existence is wiped from the face of the earth.
How old were you when you first heard this kind of talk?
Literally before I can remember. Like, you know, this was like all this stuff was explicitly stated like from when I was 0, you know, like because my mom would go to the hall pregnant, and then like I was born into it quite literally. So I just like grew up with this like imagery and this story that was going to unfold. But yeah, that's an extraordinarily unhealthy thing to do to kids, to like make them believe that
and make them think about these things at such an early age, like facing mortality and violence. And I it's just like, for me, growing up as a secular person, like I had exposure to different religions, and both my parents were exploring, but it would have been incredibly traumatic to have a pastor. Is that the name of the head of who speaks at these meetings? You would say
like elders are
okay
at the top of like the power structure stack on the local level.
Yeah.
And then beneath them would be ministerial servants, but typically elders or ministerial servants are the ones that are giving like the public discourses. Yeah.
So to have an elder saying these things when you're like barely just learning how to have language is just inherently very abusive.
Yeah, these are the trusted adults in your life. You are a part of this community at which these are the only safe people in the entire world, like within the confines of this building, of these 4 walls. And the elders, the ministerial servants, these are the people that are held up on high. And these people are not educated. Oftentimes, these are janitors and like low-level laborers that are just on a power trip and just parroting propaganda, fear, peddling fear, really, to just kind of whip up the people into a frenzy. And like kids are being exposed to that.
Wow.
Yeah. But I would say, yeah, that is one of the big issues, which we will definitely be doing a deep dive
episode
into later.
2. We're going to get all into the nitty-gritty details of how the dogs will eat the bodies.
Oh my God.
That's my favorite, really fucked up, weird
Yeah,
story.
Dogs, birds are somehow supposed to miraculously cleanse all of the corpses off of planet Earth for the Jehovah's Witnesses to enjoy. So we can look forward to that.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, you were going to tell me another thing. I think you were going to talk about shunning, because that's another big issue.
Shunning. Okay, so the Jehovah's Witnesses engage in shunning, and I think lay people think about, oh, Amish people, they shun their own members when they are bad or they're out of line. Big deal.
Yeah.
But we have a much better understanding now. Like, think of it as social solitary confinement. Like, solitary confinement is one of the worst things that you can do to a human being. And the way that the Jehovah's Witnesses do that is when you become one, your entire community is other Jehovah's Witnesses. And oftentimes your entire family's involved, and obviously your closest friends. Like, the only people that you associate with are allowed to associate with are Jehovah's Witnesses. So if you run afoul of their very arbitrary and asinine rules, you have given the keys to your entire social existence to this group. And what they do is they wield that over you to where if you step out of line, they will take away your entire community with a sentence. Like, by speaking one sentence into a microphone, everyone will immediately shun you. What they do, I mean, basically, it's really interesting. What they say is no one is supposed to even say a greeting to you, and your people are not allowed to share a meal with you. But they say it in like a very underhanded, twisted kind of way where they can like legally claim that they're not coercing people to abuse people in their community. But that's exactly what they do. Like, their language is very clear in the sense that people, and I have experienced this shunning. My mom has, other people in my family and friends, where what happens is people, like, say I run into someone at the grocery store, they could be standing right in front of me and they will like not meet my eyes. They won't look me in the eyes, and people will pretend like I don't exist, like directly to my face. I've had that experience many, many times.
Yeah.
But it is extraordinarily abusive. Like, I think there's a lot of value in calling it social solitary confinement.
Yes.
And as human beings, we are social creatures. Like, we need a social
That's right.
group in existence. So the thing about the Jehovah's Witnesses is not only do they restrict you from continuing to associate with other Jehovah's Witnesses, but the plan is to make you sever all ties with anyone else in your life before you are able to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. So by the time someone runs afoul of their rules and is excommunicated, they have no social safety net to fall back on. They have no friends. Their other family relationships have already been strained, if not completely severed at that point. And when you are excommunicated, what they want you to do, they want you to look sad and pathetic in the presence of other witnesses. You're supposed to continue going to the Kingdom Hall and like sitting through their meetings, and you are supposed to appear contrite. Like, that's how you get back in. Like, often it's like a minimum of a 6-month sentence, pretty oftentimes a year
of social solitary
confinement. And so it just devastates people. And something that we'll get into with a later episode is it causes extreme emotional duress. It's an intentional affliction of emotional distress on people. And I know of one person who I know for a fact who ended their own life because they could no longer take that social solitary confinement. Like, a close friend of mine's brother lost his life because of that. And my close friend and his sister, who are both, this person's siblings, they are 100% convinced that the reason for that was this social solitary confinement.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to even imagine just how traumatic and abusive that treatment is. If every single friend you have and every family member is acting like you literally do not exist to them. It is so much worse than just like being kicked out of your friend group or being like kicked out of your family. But like, some people will still talk to you or they'll still check in with you. They actually pretend that you're dead. Like, you're dead to us.
And it's so much worse than just if you had just went away and then you see them periodically, because these people look at you with a level of disdain that is difficult to comprehend, because the very worst thing that you can be is someone who was a Jehovah's Witness, who like went through their little ceremony of promising their lives to Jehovah, getting baptized.
Which usually happens at what age?
It does vary. Kids as young as 7
Yeah.
will make this commitment
I always try
that,
to point
according
out.
to Jehovah's Witnesses, is much more serious than a wedding or, a marital commitment. It's a much bigger deal.
Yeah, because 7-year-olds can definitely give consent to something like this.
Yeah, 7-year-olds are
Wow.
perfectly capable of promising their lives to an imaginary being. Of course,
In order to keep their mom.
in order to keep their mom, in order to have a good relationship with their parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's oftentimes the reason why people do that. But I was baptized at the age of 14,
Interesting.
which was about right, but also people are like, okay, like this young person, it's really about time for them to promise their entire existence to an immortal imaginary being if they want to keep having friends and have a good relationship with their parents.
And not
That's the
get
expectation.
kicked out as a 14-year-old. I mean, I'm sure it's a little different when you're a kid, but I can only imagine that there are stories of teenagers, being shunned as well.
It's interesting because it's like they know that people need to arrive at the decision to become baptized at their own pace. And they're kind of like soft with it, but there is always so when you're getting baptized, that's really important to do. And there is an expectation of parents like, hey, make sure that your kids get baptized before puberty, before sexual desire starts to arrive in their life. That way, because if they don't get baptized, they'll realize, oh shit, I have no ability to satiate a very natural, normal human need that I have if I'm a part of this insane group with these crazy rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of kids are pushed into it, before puberty, which is why very young kids get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, shunning, not cool, totally terrible.
And
It kills people.
It does.
People literally die because of it.
Yeah.
And it is like a little silent epidemic. One of the things that I want to do with our social science that we want to carry out is I want to try to figure out what the rate of suicide is amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, specifically ones that have run afoul of their rules and such. Because I know, I counted it pretty recently. I know of about 8 or 9 people that killed themselves, firsthand. I knew these people or knew people that were close to them.
That is a crazy high number.
Is that higher than the normal population?
Scary. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's good to know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. God. Okay. Just a couple other little points to touch on that are worth people knowing about. They have this no blood doctrine where they will prohibit their members from receiving life-saving blood transfusion treatment in cases of trauma or physical trauma, car accidents and stuff. And they expect their people to lose their lives instead of receive life-saving care if any blood transfusions are involved. A couple not throwaway issues, but a couple small things to mention. The Jehovah's Witnesses have a serious child sexual abuse issue.
Definitely not a throwaway. We're going to cover this on another episode as well, and some of the legal actions that have been attempted by certain groups to get the Jehovah's Witnesses to release documentation that we know that they have about sexual predators within their group. And they have spent a lot of money in order to not allow that information out.
Yeah. There's some really fascinating cases. There's a couple in Montana. There's a case in Thompson Falls, which isn't terribly far from where we sit today.
In this moment, yeah.
Yeah. And the Montana Supreme Court overruled a ruling that had required clergy to be mandatory reporters, just like nurses and doctors.
Yeah.
Or teachers and nurses, rather, that are mandatory reporters. Yeah, clergy members should be mandatory reporters. This is extraordinarily simple. That's a very basic rule to have to keep society safe. And they have been able to get out of that, which is absolutely terrible.
This is where we hit the point of Freedom of religion versus basic human rights. How do we balance that? We have a real issue with that in our country. So that's definitely something that we're going to be talking about as well as we go forward with this show. Just to give you a couple other examples of episodes, we're going to be covering sexuality, dating in the J-dubs. That's going to be an extra fun episode. Danny has some incredible stories about that. And I can't wait for that one. Yeah, we just have, we want to cover like what it's like being a member of the LGBTQ IA plus community and how that, and we have friends and family members that are in that community and what their experience was. I'm excited to hear you just tell more of the crazy stories of not only things that you used to believe, but things that other people have believed and the ways that that has impacted their life. There is just a lot here.
There is so much to talk about, and I really want to have a conversation with thoughtful, intelligent people. Like, what are we trying to balance in a free society that has free speech and that has freedom of religion? That is a good thing, because we do not want to live in a society where the government can suppress people. However, what we need is religions that are not free to abuse people, including their own members.
Correct.
And a balance has to be stricken somewhere, but I feel like, if nothing else, it's really good to have that conversation publicly and to see what we can do. And to convince basically educate the public as to what these organizations are doing, educate the public that these are not benign or like religious institutions, but they are actively harmful, and they're actively harmful at big population scales.
Yes. And
I definitely want to try to help educate people to kind of change public opinion on how Jehovah's Witnesses are perceived.
Absolutely. And something I've learned is that they're not only harmful to their own members, but also the way that these belief systems are harmful to our community at large. They're harmful to all of us, in fact, because of the way that they have these horrendous, violent views about, our firemen and our police officers and our healthcare workers and, me, just a normal person walking down the street. Like, they view me as an NPC, non-playable character who is dead flesh, I believe is the term.
That's right.
They're looking forward actively to the end of all of their neighbors who don't agree with them. Like, this is not something that should be socially accepted in society. There is a line that religious groups can cross where they're no longer simply people going about their business with their free speech and free beliefs, but they're actively teaching children abusive things and encouraging abusive beliefs that have a negative impact on communities in general.
Oh my God. A layperson might be sitting out somewhere thinking, I am neither a Jehovah's Witnesses, neither one of Jehovah's Witnesses, nor do I know any Jehovah's Witnesses. So like, what does this have to do with me? Who cares, right? Mm-hmm. But what if you care about equal rights for women? What if you think that women should have the same amount of respect or social standing or status? Then you should really not like Jehovah's Witnesses. They're extraordinarily misogynistic.
Yes.
And there are no women that have any positions of power. Women are expected to be quiet and to be basically servants and basically property of their husbands. So let's say that you care about the climate. Well, guess what? Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't give a shit about the climate because they think, oh, God's going to come riding down and he's going to fix the earth. I don't have to do jack shit. So, or what if you care about like Black Lives Matter or just minorities that deserve to be treated equally and fairly? Like, there is no room for any of these issues. And oftentimes their stance is the opposite of what is beneficial to society. So I think that there's a lot of good to be done for the world for people like myself who used to believe all this shit, to come around to embracing science and to believing experts in their field, there is a massive effort to make their people distrustful of doctors, of very important institutions, distrustful of governments. So if you can convince some of these people, hey, science is extremely important and valuable, or hey, women are human beings just like everyone else that are deserving of equal treatment, equal pay, etc., you're then able to get people to care about issues that you care about. Because if these people can be taken out of the Jehovah's Witnesses revenue stream, which is the only thing that the Jehovah's Witnesses care about, then you're able to have a better, more thoughtful society with people who care about issues and people who want to try to change the world for the better, as opposed to just sit back, continue just being an asshole and not have to do anything.
Yeah. And we were looking up the statistics. It's about 1% of the world population is a Jehovah's Witness.
About 8,700,000 approximately.
That is way too many people on our planet believing this crazy bullshit that has such a negative impact. Like, when you think about just the loss of potential positive human potential with all of those lives, and now personally knowing at least 20, 25 people personally that used to be J-dubs that now are getting to live their own lives, I'm seeing how much creativity and beauty and goodness these people are bringing to the world that would have been completely lost if they had been trapped inside this group. And I just think it is so important to bring more awareness to this, because how many people are on the edge of leaving and just need that little bit of support, or how many people need to know about this so that they don't fall into it in the first place and end up losing their potential for their life because in a vulnerable moment they were drawn into a high control group. We have a duty when we have this information to share it, to help protect potential future members from that
from falling into that revenue stream.
Yeah. And to help support, new ex-members, but also people that may be considering leaving. And honestly, any high control group. I mean, I'd love to talk with you about Mormonism as well. Like, eventually, as we go with this series, there's a lot more things that we can talk about, and we're going to have a really good time diving into all of that as well.
Yeah, like the status quo is currently unsustainable. And if I could just give you a little wish list of items, I would say it's this. I want society in general to just understand, oh, Jehovah's Witnesses, that's not just the people who annoy me on Saturdays. Those are the people that have a rampant child sex abuse issue. They're the people that would rather their people die instead of accepting life-saving healthcare. Those are the people that put, let's see here. Those are the people that don't care and do nothing for climate change, LGBTQIA plus issues, and they don't care about women or do anything to really help society at all.
In fact, they're very anti those things.
They are absolutely anti those things.
Actively harming those groups of people.
But I want to do some social science, because Jehovah's Witnesses who wake up to the fact that they were in a group that was a cult, they're cast out immediately. And these people are lonely in the world and are often intentionally left out in the cold to just suffer and struggle themselves. So I want to build community. And the narrative in society is like, oh, only stupid people fall into cults. Like, only dumb people do that. When that is not the case.
It is not true.
It is often a matter of circumstances and just being a vulnerable person. We're going to get into, when we talk about like the cult recruitment work or the field service work, we're going to talk about how they are searching for people who are vulnerable. They will camp out at cemeteries to try to find grieving people, to then prey upon them with their messages of, oh, just come join our group and you'll get to see your dead mom again. Ooh,
that's so spooky.
Oh, yeah. But, I want to do some social science. I want to talk to lots of other XJW members, and I want to get some substantial data on the mental health effects of people that leave these groups or that were once in these groups. And, oh my gosh, the biggest thing that I was trying to circle back to, The biggest thing that I want to do is I want to change society's perspective, because right now, anyone that was in a group, in a cult like group, they're stupid. They were stupid. And so when they exit it, they're not worthy of an applause or any commendation or anything. I want to change that.
Yes.
Like, these people go through hell to escape that absolute den of horse shit, and they need to be celebrated.
That's
like,
right.
These people should be celebrated for leaving this very destructive ideology and are making something out of their lives, that are living authentically, that are becoming full members of society and are engaging and trying to make incremental change in the world. Like, I want those people to be celebrated. Like, that's so important to me. So, like, we want to do a yearly holiday. I want to do meetups and stuff like that. And Absolutely. I want to work with scientists and do some good social science and, like, prove that groups like this are not beneficial to our world.
And if you or someone that you know is an ex-member of a high control group like Jehovah's Witness, Mormons, there's a lot more of them out there. We see you. You are courageous. That is a courageous act that you took to leave that group. It is not easy. They make it incredibly difficult, and there is a lot that you have to lose in order to gain your freedom. It's worth it. Truly. I mean, we want to share a lot of success stories. There are so many beautiful stories of the lives that people get to reclaim after going through that. But it is truly one of the hardest things that a person can go through, because you have to completely reinvent your entire inner monologue, your belief system. You have to lose family and friends. Your entire
framework for reality
yes.
has to be completely thrown away and rebuilt entirely. Yeah, just perhaps a little final little story. Like, that was me. Like, let's see here, 5-6 years ago, I was completely indoctrinated. My basic human needs were not being met. Jehovah's Witnesses are extraordinarily poor. They're one of the poorest religious groups out there in the world, I believe, according to, I think it's the 2014 and then updated 2018 Pew Research Survey, which is extremely valuable. I encourage anyone to check that out. But yeah, I was like really I was disempowered. I was misinformed. I was like socioeconomically very, very low on the bar there. I was uneducated. I would say miseducated. And my life was being squandered. People were squandering my life for the purposes of just continuing to recruit people in a cult and then just further reinforce the delusions of those in my immediate vicinity. And then literally the moment that I said, hey, I've discovered this inconsistency with the doctrine. Can you elders that we're meeting in this private room for, can you like help me understand this inconsistency? And immediately, without a second thought, I was immediately blamed. They asked me, where did you get this information? With the clear implication of, oh, you looked at third-party information about the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is a big no-no. And just like that, what I wrote in my journal was my lifetime of loyalty and dedication to this group in that moment was repaid with contempt. And I will just never forget that experience for my entire life. Literally giving my entire lives to an organization, doing construction, going internationally, doing construction on these cult recruitment, on these cult compounds, and engaging as a pioneer and just doing everything. And then just the second that there's a sniff of like critical thought and skepticism, they throw you away. And how a group responds to criticism tells you everything that you need to know about them. But anyway, all of this is to say, like, that used to be me. I used to be an uneducated, low-paid construction laborer with no life and no future, just literally waiting for the world to end. And now, here I sit. I got my degree. I have this incredible job. I fell in love with the most wonderful woman. I fell in love with the most beautiful woman in the world. And we get to do everything together. And I want to spend every day with you. and I've recovered family relationships, and I have friends that are not friends because I reinforced their unfounded beliefs, but because we have things in common and we get to do things together. And I now have like a rich and full life that was just absolutely impossible 5-6 years ago. And so there's so many stories like that of success, of people escaping groups like this. And I want to find more and share them.
Yes. Thank you for this episode's happy ending. Love to hear those success stories, and we're definitely going to be trying to find one for every single episode, because it is worth it to leave. It truly,
it's so worth it.
Truly
oh my God.
is.
Let me tell you, it is so worth it. It is so scary to leave a group that has told you your whole life, like, no one else in the world is safe. You're only safe within the clutches of this group. Education is worthless. There's so much shit that they tell you, but it is so worth it to take that step to just like suspend your belief. Just like, okay, I'm just going to hold this belief in suspended animation, and I'm going to like do some independent third-party research. That I implore anyone who actually is a Jehovah's Witnesses, who is one of Jehovah's Witnesses listening to this, to take those steps and like literally to start engaging your capable of critical thinking mind.
Yes.
Please. I'm personally begging you to do so if I just described you.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up with that. Thank you, Danny, for sharing your story. It's very intimate, details of your life, and I'm excited for more.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure, and I'm going to share the best thing that I learned in my educational experience so far. It is, you owe your people your honesty. And I want to be completely open and honest about my experience, because I am convinced that that will help people who are stuck in something that I was lucky enough to escape. So thank you for...
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you for your help.
We love you all. We'll see you next week.
Love you guys.